The Rosicrucian path is the journey of the mystic. Few souls brave it at any single time. Yet, it is this internal voyage that has rewarded many of our greatest minds with the ability to enrich the world. But it is a pilgrimage each individual must travel in their own time, for it reveals the path of knowing. It transcends time and space. This path of the Rosicrucian reveals higher truths for personal evolution. You are invited to witness its sacred history. The word mystery derives from the Greek mysterion, or secret rites, coming from the Greek muo, meaning to close, as in to close the eyes or mouth, to be silent.
Mysteries does not necessarily imply that a tradition is mysterious. It implies that its members are formally initiated and remain silent about it.
The following is an exploration of 4 mystery traditions derived from some of the most remarkable figures of the ancient world. These traditions have contributed to what we know today as the Rosicrucian order. Pythagoras. One of the most influential figures in mathematics, he is best known for his appropriately named Pythagorean theorem, which states in a right triangle, the sum of the squares of the 2 right angle sides will always be the same as the square of the hypotenuse, the long side. Pythagoras was born in 572 BCE, but his first biography was not written until the 3rd century CE. Therefore, much of the life of Pythagoras is largely considered legend. His number theory was fundamental to the teaching of the Pythagorean communities. According to their ideas, number is the essence of creation, number is being, and the universe was created and ordered according to a divine ideal pattern. Because it is the basis of creation, it is also the fundamental nature of the law of correspondences. Number, creation, cosmology, and music are all related. According to the teaching, the monad or unit is the first principle of all things and is the beginning number. Former imperator of the Rosicrucian order, Ralph M. Lewis, wrote, Pythagoras also assigned moral qualities to numbers. These meanings were not understood by the uninitiated, and taken literally or without further qualification, they often seemed ludicrous. 1 was the point of beginning, the absolute. It likewise depicted the reason, the mind cause. 2 stood for opinion. 4 represented justice and stability of character. 5 represented marriage because it consisted of the unity of the odd and even numbers, 2 and 3. 5 was also held to be the key to the laws of color. 7 was said to represent opportunity, but it also symbolized Athena, the goddess of wisdom. Even more importantly, Pythagoras taught that wisdom consisted in knowing how to count to 10. He created the holy tetractys, made up of the first 4 numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, which when added together are 10. They represent, in order, the point, the line, the plane, and the solid. This tetractys was therefore the basis of the cosmos. What many people do not know about Pythagoras is that he was very well traveled. He journeyed extensively through Egypt, Babylonia, Crete, and likely even India, suggesting that his gathering of knowledge helped to shape his profound understanding of mystic traditions and their common secrets. It is important to note that in the Pythagorean tradition, both men and women were equally honored as potential candidates for enlightenment through the path. In a time when patriarchy dominated most social structures, it was mystery schools like these that preserved a sense of equality among the genders. Silence. One of the most difficult things to achieve in the modern world of countless distractions was an important key to the Pythagorean path into all of mysticism. Before he would initiate a neophyte into the mysteries of his teachings, the philosopher Pythagoras would subject a candidate to various ordeals which were designed to strengthen the initiate's character and which would allow Pythagoras to judge him or her. Following 5 years of silence, if found worthy, Pythagorean postulants, men and women, were considered for instruction into the mysteries, which were presented in 3 degrees: The first was dedicated to the science of numbers, the second to the moral and political laws, and the third to esoteric doctrines. When they were finally allowed to speak again, they would do so only with circumspection and respect. They had learned inwardly through personal experience that silence is almost divine power, the mother of all virtues. The core philosophy of the Pythagorean school was that through the study of the laws of the universe, an individual could bring his or her mind into harmony with the cosmic and become one with the universe. This belief was connected to their sacred purpose and was their primary goal in life. The Pythagorean teachings also included music and harmony. They noted the congruence between numbers in musical harmony and the universe, or to put it as Aristotle did, the whole heaven or visible universe is a musical scale or number. More importantly, these teachings incorporated the metaphysical principle that mathematical relationships express qualities or tones of energy that manifest in numbers, visual angles, shapes, and sounds, all connected within a pattern of proportion. Music was measured in number, and the cosmos was essentially comprised of music. In a theory known as the harmony of the spheres, Pythagoras proposed that the sun, moon, and planets each emit a distinct hum based on their orbital revolution, and that the quality of life on Earth reflects the tenor of celestial sounds that are physically imperceptible to the human ear. Although no original writings of Pythagoras have survived antiquity, a collection of 71 aphorisms is mentioned by Hierocles of Alexandria in the 5th century CE called the Golden Verses. From internal evidence, some scholars believe they come from a poem by Pythagoras, which was passed down orally until persecution scattered the Pythagoreans, at which point they were committed to writing. Considered a guide for right living, this early code of ethics is still practiced today. This mystical understanding of the universe has outlived the actual school and influences much of Western thought in one form or another. Rosicrucian philosophy embodies many of these concepts. The ancient Greek myth of Demeter and Persephone is well known among scholars and avid lovers of mythology, but few are aware of the ancient mystic traditions that were derived from stories of the pantheon deities. The most famous of all ancient religious mysteries, among which were those of Samothrace, the Dionysian, and the Orphic mysteries, those concerning Cybele and Adonis, and the mysteries surrounding the Delphic oracle, were those which took place at Eleusis in Attica, Greece, in honor of Demeter, goddess of agriculture. The Eleusinian mysteries stood far above the rest in spiritual content, ceremonial majesty, and cultural significance. The story deals with Persephone, the embodiment of youth and beauty, being dragged to the underworld. Tormented with grief, her mother, Demeter, goddess of agriculture, scoured the land and, unsuccessful, eventually hid in Eleusis. It was there that the goddess requested the construction of a temple and offered to teach her mysteries. She soon declared that no earthly crop would grow until Persephone was returned. Zeus intervened and had her returned to her mother, but by consuming pomegranate seeds given to her by Hades, god of the underworld, she was forced to return for 3 months every year. Thus was born the origin of winter, a time of Demeter's great sorrow. Their story symbolizes the human soul's return, after the death of the body, to its original and loving source. The Homeric hymn to Demeter ends with these important words: "Blessed are the mortals, inhabitants of earth, who have seen the great spectacles. But whoever remains uninitiated and never participates in the performance of the sacred ceremonies will be forever deprived of this blessing, because they will not possess it even when death shall send them to their gloomy world below." Eleusinian initiations were presented in 2 stages, the lesser mysteries held in the spring and the greater mysteries lasting 9 days in the fall. The result of these 2 was the state of apopteia, meaning having seen. These mysteries were so important that during antiquity, the whole Greek world held a truce to permit travel to and from Eleusis, 12 miles from Athens. The progressive concept of initiation and its effect on the individual continues in Rosicrucian initiations today. To understand the modern world and our place in the cosmos, it is necessary to understand the mysteries within the context of primordial tradition. Perhaps no ancient god or goddess has ever been the subject of the worship and celebration of so many throughout the ancient world, from the earliest times to the introduction of Christianity, as was Isis. But who was Isis? Isis, the devoted wife of Osiris and loving mother of Horus, the savior goddess, the queen of heaven. The image of the veil of Isis has persisted through the centuries from ancient Egyptian Sais, where Athena and Isis were identified as one to the present day. Originally a symbol of wisdom, initiation, and the mysteries, her veil has successfully become an image of protection, of the secrets of nature, of hidden history and truths to be revealed. In each historical context, the veil is an invitation to delve further into the truths which have been hidden in plain sight from the eyes of those who will not see. This is thought to be the origin of the phrase removing or lifting the veil to symbolize the transition to enlightenment. One claim to fame of Sais, Egypt was the nearby grave of Osiris, and the Osirian mysteries were carried out on an adjacent island in the delta. It was natural, therefore, for Isis and Neith, both very ancient goddesses, to be associated with one another. Thus, the triple goddess Neith, Isis, Athena was worshipped at the goddess's shrine at Sais, a combination of very ancient feminine divinities. Further, Greek visitors to Sais, such as Herodotus, Plato, and Diodorus Siculus, also identified this Neith Isis with Athena, holding that Athena built Sais before she founded Athens, and that when Athens and Atlantis were destroyed by the Great Flood, Sais survived. To participate in a mystery religion implies a binding obligation, a duty, and an honor. Duty and honor were paramount in Roman civilization, although adherence to any religion was not necessary. Mithraism was neither static nor homogeneous. As much as Christianity varied from one region of the Roman Empire to the other and beyond, so did Mithraism. The name Mithras most likely derives from the Indo-Iranian noun mithra, meaning that which binds, as in a covenant. The celebrations of the Mithraic mysteries were held in Mithraic temples found throughout the Roman Empire at military outposts throughout ancient Europe. The actual origins, rites, and rituals of the Mithraic mysteries are relatively unknown, but they included a series of 7 initiations in which the candidates underwent various trials. It has been suggested that the Mithraic initiations involve 3 ordeals to be endured: heat, cold, and hunger. The temples, usually erected within caves, were built to represent the cosmos. The Mithraea, or temples themselves, were often constructed at military sites. Because the religion was based on the ideology of power and hierarchy, and was largely limited to males, the tradition was popular among Roman soldiers. But as with many of the mystery schools, by 395, when the Roman Emperor Theodosius banned all pagan religions, Christianity assimilated and replaced training in the Mithraic mysteries, and to this day, very little is known about the true nature of the symbols presented in the initiation process. What is known is that a strict combination of scientific study, symbolic initiation, and cosmic union has been passed down and is a feature of the Rosicrucian initiation process.